thing is working. I don't even know. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be looking at, but here we go.
Okay.
Hello. So,
Hi.
we are here. We're live. It's your boy Joshua J. Holland, and
Hi, Tessa. How you doing?
I'm doing well. So, um, I will admit that we are a bit on the fly and kind of running by the seat of our pants, whatever that expression means. But we are doing this thing. Today is the official book launch of Dun, 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 the Awareness Shift.
Woo!
Woo! So yeah, this is our attempt at having a live stream party, and um, yeah, I will admit also that earlier today I went live on Instagram with my buddy Germany Mayfield, who is also in the process of writing a book. Oh, this would be a good opportunity to kind of talk about both of the processes and also to give the people that follow us on Instagram to get an opportunity to see a live component of today. So now we're here on YouTube. I think we're on YouTube. We're at least live on Riverside platform. And I
Mhm.
just wanted to take the opportunity to have both Tessa and I here so that we can talk about our gratitude for everything that has happened so far. And, without getting too mushy, I wanted to also express my gratitude to Tessa, and I wanted to do it live. And so,
You're
um,
so sweet, Josh.
yeah, Tessa, I can't tell you how grateful I am to have this right now in my hands. And I don't want to belabor this too much because I know you don't have the book yet in your hands, but
Yeah, I do
very
not.
very soon you will. Um,
Yes.
and in fact, I just realized that you and I are going to be in New York together around the same time.
We are?
Yeah, yeah. So I just found out
Fabulous.
instead of just leaving a pile of books for you to pick up, I'm going to be there. You know what I mean? So
That's
I'll be
nice.
able to. Yeah, it's much better that way, I think. Yeah. So for those of you that don't quite know the process, Tessa and I did a podcast together before the book was finished and before it was released, and we kind of talked about all the things involved in our of this book. I'm gonna look up that episode number, but Tessa, why don't you maybe say a few things to the people, and that way they can.
Oh, goodness. Well, firstly, I'd like to express my supreme gratitude. I was folding washing the other day and I just had this little moment pop up in my mind about how grateful I am to have met you, to have been welcomed into your inner circle, and to have been trusted with this, like, such a huge, like, privilege. Like, this, sorry. Um, it really, like, to have that book sitting in your hands and to see it, for it to be like in the, like, material 3D. I don't know, it's just so wild, and it's
Yeah.
so wild because the journey was so intense and so full of
Yeah.
it's basically the book. The journey of the book is the book, like, that's, and that's why it's so special to us, right? Because
Right.
it's not just like, oh yeah, we wrote this book about health and wellness and awareness and stuff like that. This book is you and I, like,
Right.
like, its essence is you and I meeting, having this, like, moment that, like was so, I guess, eye opening, for lack of a better word, and it just changed the trajectory of both of our paths. And I don't know, maybe it's silly to say that, I don't know, I feel so, yeah, I'm just so grateful because it just proves that life is so much about the journey and not the destination, even though when you get to the destination it's so super sweet, it's wonderful.
Oh,
But,
good.
like, I remember talking to someone about this process the other day and kind of explaining it, as I have explained to many people who kind of have asked what's going on in my life. And I said, even this may not be that special to anyone, and nobody, no, you know, our individual personal lives are not as important to anyone else except us. You know, like what's going on
Yeah.
in our, like, front and center vision, it's like people will notice it for a little while and be like, oh wow, that's really full on, and be affected by it, perhaps some people more than others. But for me, the fact that we did this together, the fact that you trusted me with it, the fact that you were so patient and kind and supportive, and like you didn't give up, like it just proves to me that it is so important who you allow in your life and who you hang
Mm.
around and who you choose to partner and birth things with. Like, that's the journey of the book, like making all those decisions, like being aware of who you allow in your space, who you allow, like, to be in your energy, because essentially that's the root of how you get everything else done.
Well said. And for those that are watching, I wanted to go and find the exact episode in which Tessa and I talked about the book making process, and I found that. And so what I'm going to do now in the live chat, because we are live, and I just checked it, I have it up on this other screen here. So I finally got this thing figured out. But on the
Amazing.
live chat, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the episode, at least to the Spotify account in which we did the discussion. It was episode 150. Okay,
Mm,
and what I've done in the live, I've put that there so that people can also click on it if they so want to. So there it is. If you're actually on YouTube, you can see the link to the live chat, and then of course we also doubled up. I believe, didn't we do that on? I don't know if I was doing the YouTubes by then. I don't know, like, because this was in May. That was back in like May 2021, which is over a year ago.
that's wild, truly wild. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if we did that actually on the because there was a point in time in which I did all of the episodes for Simply Walk the Talk on the YouTube platform, and I think it was
Hmm.
maybe shortly after that. So if I can find it on here, I will post that as well so people can see it. Um,
Mm.
but I don't think we did it on here, so that's okay. That's quite all right. But thank you for your words. Um, Tessa, is something that you and I both had, like, I mean, we both have had lots of challenges and lots of ups and downs, but I think you said it very well by saying um, sometimes it's not just about the destination, but once you do
Mm.
get there, it's really beautiful. And what I spoke about earlier with Germany on the Instagram live, there was several so which are like very high moments and then very low. And one of those moments was, I remember we celebrated this finishing of the manuscript. So that was a very big deal
Mm.
for both of us,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Only to then realize that we have to do several editing rounds, right?
Yes.
And then once we got through that, we were like, okay, we're finished with the editing. That's cool, or we're good. And then it was like, oh no, you got to do all of the promotion, and
Yeah.
you got to do another round of, like, asking people for money or asking people to support.
Yeah.
um and then we finally got to the point where it was like, oh, we're going to print now. And
Yeah.
so, okay, we're finally printing, everything is good. And then all of a sudden, this huge stack of books shows up at my apartment, and
Mm.
I'm like, oh my goodness, this is what we've been waiting for, right?
Yeah.
And I'm able to open the box. I mean, I almost didn't care. I had to pee so bad, but I didn't even go pee because I just wanted to open this box. And I open the box and I look inside, and I'm just like, I just have this flood of emotions come over me because I'm just like, wow, it's here. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been talking about for, and both
Creating.
of our names are on. this baby that finally came to life, you know? And
Yeah.
and then I quickly realized, wait, we still got work to do. I've got work
Yeah.
to do. I've got to now put this book into everyone else's hands, because until we get the books into the people's hands, you know, no good. You know what I mean? It's still just a dream. So
Such a process. Yeah.
yeah, I have to admit, Tess, like it was by far one of the toughest processes for me, was to try to prepare for this tour that I'm on now, to also deal with like thanking everyone, writing notes, signing books, right?
Looks like you did an incredible job at, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, listen, it's the least I could do, right? Like your words on these pages are so beautiful, right?
This was
Like
this was a joint effort, Josh, by every measure of the word. Really, really.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. But like I figured, the fact that this book, well written, we've got a lot of support from people like your sister who helped out with the illustrations, right?
Mhm.
And I could not see myself, like, for instance, here's an example who haven't had a chance to see it yourself, Tess. I don't know if you can see that. It's backwards, right? I think it's backwards to you. Is that right?
It's a little blurry because I feel like the connection. Oh, the first pillar it says, and there's, I think it's the labyrinth.
The first pillar, and it's the roots, the tree root, the
The
foundation of
roots.
the tree.
Okay, yeah, it's
Yes.
coming through. That's, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. It's so cool. It's
Right. So
amazing.
that, it's like it's really cool. And then also here's another one. I'm sorry for it being blurry. It's probably my
That's okay.
connection with
That's
the,
okay.
but this is another set of illustrations, right? And what's powerful about that is, like, Tessa's sister helped out with that, and and it was a collaborative effort throughout. And
Mm,
I figured I had to do it some sort of justice, because the way it felt, the way it looks, the way it reads, it needed to be packaged in a way that felt
yeah,
special when people received it. And so, now if you go to my Instagram, there's so many people today that have received a book. And so there's so
yeah,
much love on my Instagram stories. There's so much love, you know what I mean,
yeah.
on this day. So this is so special to me. So special.
That's amazing. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, what else did you say, or I mean, what else should we talk about? I just wanted to at least get on and have us both here, and I'll obviously share this video so we can talk, you know, share more of your side of it as well, because I know people hear enough of me.
That's the beauty of having the North Node in Leo. It is about you.
Mm,
And like, I'm so grateful I found an Aquarian South Node, right, to help me get to my North Node. We have this nodal reversal, so the ecliptic points of the moon, and ours are reversed. So all the stuff that I learned previously is stuff that you're going towards, and all the stuff that you learned previously is what I'm going towards. So it's just this beautiful synergistic relationship, which is so cool and so wonderful. And I always knew that if I was ever going to birth any type of baby, that I would need to find a partner who truly like supported me in the way that I needed it. And like, I moved to New York, and like 2 months later, here he is. Like, so I don't know. I think there's been so many lessons, there's been so many highs, so many lows. Like, but God, like it just really proves that I don't know. I like sometimes I don't know what to say, because and I feel like that's an appropriate response because I can talk until the cows come home. But it just like I really can. Um oh God. You just you have to be like aligned. You have to know what you want to achieve. You have to be so like committed, but also I don't know, I guess everybody's different. But for me personally,
absolutely.
it had to be something that I was so passionate about that there was no wasn't an answer, that backing out wasn't an option. It was like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is what we want to put out to the world. And everything that you have taught me through this process, through your mentorship, through your wisdom, is so in alignment with where I want to go, like what I want to be about. And that's why this worked, I feel.
Well, thank you, Tess. Honestly, like, I mean, I clearly couldn't have, and um, and sort of like what you're mentioning is, I mean, I think we both kind of needed something to sort of take this project over the hump, or to, to bring it are, and and I feel like we both have projects that we are working on together, and projects that we're going to work on, like, separately, and things like that. But this was a great starting point. I think this is a great catalyst for us both. We want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know we can do it. Kind of off camera, privately, about how there's various things that we set out to do and maybe never started or never finished. Yet we did this. No matter how tough it was, we did this. And I actually talked about that in the podcast episode with Jesse Krieger, which I put in the live chat section here. So if you guys are curious about that, I have it there. And I'm also, right now as we speak, pardon me, I'm definitely everything, but I'm also wanting to make sure as many people listening to this as possible. I'm gonna go to my my Instagram stories to let people know that we're live on YouTube. So that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, I feel like there's so much synergy in what we do. And why don't you talk a little bit about, I think, like, more about what you do, right? Because I know there was some discussions and the rewards when we first started this whole process about like the readings and things of that nature. Why don't you talk a little bit about what you do? Because previously you just mentioned about the North nodes and the this and that. Some people are like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I now know a lot more because you've been helping me, but one.
So, oh God, I guess one of the bundles that we offered was a birth chart reading. And basically, when each of us is born, there is, I like to think of it's like an ancient language that's scribbled across the sky through planetary alignments. And everybody knows about astronomy and the movement of the planets, and that it's a science. And then we have astrology, which is the movement of the planets, which have then been assigned certain characteristics or mythology, ancient mythologies, which have proven themselves through a series of patterns throughout the world. And obviously, it's, no surprise that perhaps one might be wondering what's happening right now in those patterns, because there's a lot of strife, right, in the world.
Yes,
and
yes.
One example is the prevalency of empires to fall after a certain amount of time, which is roughly about 240, 260 years, which happens to coincide with the Pluto return of any said planet. And that Pluto return happened in the United States in February of this year. And you feel Pluto coming in, and you feel him coming in about 10 years before and about 10 years after. But when he goes exact, it's pretty diabolical. Pluto's like nuclear. And we've been like living under a very tumultuous sky for, as I'm sure nobody's surprised about, for quite some time. Like when Pluto entered into the constellation of Capricorn in 2008, we had a huge financial crash. And now Pluto is at he was almost at the anaretic degree, which is the final degree, which is very like a stringent degree. And we are also experiencing incredible financial chaos, right? We've got the crypto world, which is, causing, I guess, laws to be rethought and economy to be questioned. We have this serious inflation that occurred during the pandemic, which is, inevitable to cause problems at some point, which we're going to be experiencing in the next little bit, because what goes up must come down, and you can't blow up a balloon to where it won't burst at some point, right?
Right.
So, in terms of like, I am an astrology student. I'm by no means a professional. I'll remain an astrology student for the rest of my life, because the knowledge is so vast and so wide, and there's so many different interpretations, so many different systems. There's tropical, there's wet, which is Western astrology. There's Vedic astrology, sidereal. There's which has its origins in India. But basically, you map out the planets and the stars, and you assign them certain, I guess, like personalities, and then you can predict what's going to happen. So, for instance, this week we are experiencing Neptune going retrograde, which means that he doesn't go backwards. No planet ever goes backwards, but based on the illusion and the angle, like in proximity to Earth. So this week is very emotional. It's a very emotional week. It's because Neptune is the ocean, and the ocean is a huge body of water, and the moon rules the ocean, and so the moon's our emotions. We're having a new moon in Cancer today. So the Cancer is the mother. It's the home. It's our private lives. It's our first experience of love, right? And there's huge things going on in terms of the mother right now, and the right to choose and body autonomy. At the end of the week, we have a really heinous aspect happening. We have Mars squaring Pluto, Mars in Aries, which is a war aspect, and Pluto in Capricorn, which is power, it's patriarchy, it's struggles, it's authority. So this week's a big one. It's a lot. And we look at our personal charts, which when I discovered astrology, it was so validating for me, because this stranger was sitting in front of me, basically telling me how I am. Oh, Josh, are you there? Your video. That's all right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, this stranger was in front of me, who's very, very kind, and who I still speak with every week. Basically telling me why I was the way that I was, and somehow they knew how I was and who I was. And it was like, yeah, that's exactly right. And oh, that's okay. That's okay to be me. Like, that's who I am. So I don't know, I find astrology very comforting. I find it like an endless source of like wonder and learning and growth and self-discovery. And yeah, so that's a little bit about what I do when I'm not writing and doing that.
I mean, clearly, I know you're being very humble. That in terms of just saying that you're a student, because it's what I do and what I am. Always be a student of movement and how the body works and things like that. But you clearly, so let's just, like, it is what it is. Your shit, and the exact reason why it's important that we embed some, because what you do is me, and there might be some 100 or one person out there that picks up the book, resonates with that piece only. Maybe they only resonate with that part of what we're talking about. And so I feel like we bring all of it together. This was process. This is why
Yes.
I love working with people to I've always been a I probably will always
Mm,
remain a team player. At the same time, I've learned the difference and boundaries. The
totally.
boundaries you're able to have. So you put all that together, as magnificent as I may be biased, but it is. So yeah, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for what's to come, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what feedback comes in, because that's kind of the next. And
Mm.
so we got some really good feedback from our buddy or Alan Sakian,
Yeah.
and also Lisa Zaman.
Yeah.
I think it
Yeah.
might be too late for her to be on this live. She better be. Um, she's also one of to me saying that she has read most of it via um, the ebook.
Hmm.
She also has a physical book as well. She actually has 4 books. She got 4 books.
Wow,
Um,
that's so sweet. That's so lovely.
yeah, I made sure the first international ship. So I shipped
Yeah.
hers internationally with all and
Yeah.
the Hamptons the next day, and did the rest, via the Hamptons. But
Yeah.
it's really nice to especially to come back, or Atlas to come back and say what he said to us about this, because he was one of the first once we decided we were going to go down this process, right?
Yes.
Recall that?
Yes, I do. I remember that day. That was with Mariah as well.
Yeah, exactly. Mariah was there, and I was to try to get footage from that.
Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
like she was so unique by our conversation and whatnot. Like, it was almost like we forgot about. We just kind of scrapped the whole video component. You know what I mean? We got it was compared to, like, eventually got out of it, right? And I
Hmm.
see her now want to become. She's like really doing. She's killing it.
That's amazing.
I looked at her TikTok the other. Oh, today I looked at her TikTok, and I'm like, videos have 1,000 views, or maybe that was her Instagram. I mean, she's like
Wow.
every post now. She's very consistent, and she's embedding her stuff. She knows her stuff now. You know what I mean? She's doing it. Yeah,
That's
I like watching people.
wonderful. So great. Oh my God, don't we love that? We love it when people we love watching people thrive. Like favorite thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I had one of my friends in Australia who's been a very, very good friend of mine for so long. She's incredible. She was actually a competitive athlete just out of school. So she was a competitive skier, and she went to the Scholastic School of, I think, if I don't know the exact name, but very impressive person, one of my favorite people. And she then went on to study law, and now she's a lawyer. Um, and she downloaded it straight away. Are you there, Josh? Ooh, I think we've lost him. Josh. I don't know if this is going to be still.
Hello.
Hello, we're back.
Oh, we're back. I'm trying to see if it's gonna.
We're back.
Oh, it kept it going. Wow,
It
that's
kept going?
amazing.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it kept. Well, I mean, you're looking beautiful. You're my text message. You're so sweet, holding on.
It's
Um,
okay.
I I could hear everything, and then all of a sudden, listen, it's the hotel Wi-Fi,
That's
and 30 minutes. But so you were
that's
saying your friend downloaded it right away, and
she
then it
did.
kicked off.
She downloaded it straight away, and she takes the tram to work in Melbourne, and she started reading it, and she said, "Oh my goodness, this is so wonderful." She goes, it's so well written, and it was so like God, it was so great just to like hear that and to like, because you just, when you're doing this, you never know. You're like, is anyone going to read this? Is anyone going to think it's good? Like in your head while you're just typing away, like every every fight with every demon that you've ever met in your head. And she's like she went to one of the top private schools in Melbourne. Like this school, you have to enter this school with an exam. That's the only way they'll let you in. And so I trust her. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love everybody's encouragement and everybody's like kind words. But when you have somebody who like is up, like it's just, yeah. So all the support, all the people that have taken time to read it, who have donated to our crowdfunding campaign way back when, like it's just it makes so much of a difference. Like it yeah. Thank you to everyone, right? Like we love you all.
Literally, as you're speaking, this is
Mm.
amazing because literally as you're speaking, I finally figured out this whole live thing. So we can create purchase while we're here, right? So we have a few people watching the live.
Oh, that's
So
so
I
nice.
just,
Hello.
but I'm also say out of my heart, Julian, thank you so much. Um, I hope, and I'm sure I'm speaking for Tessa as well. We hope that you get as much out of this as we hope you do,
And
and because
we
there,
did, you know?
yeah, yeah, it's such we put so much into this, and I think we're going to continue to put so much into this, and I think
Yeah.
we're only going to get so much more out of this as we see more people like yourself. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. And I remember listening to an artist, and they said, when you write a song, or when you, or maybe it was a song, maybe it was a book, but when you write a song, or you write a book, and then you release it out into the world, and it takes on a life of its own. Because every single person that listens to it, every single person that reads it, every single person that sees it with their own lens, right? Because we all see the world through our own reality, which is so unique because no one is ever going to see it the way we see it, which is why it's so vital to create if you feel so called to create, because
Mhm.
everything you do will be so unique, right? And like when people do go and read it, they're going to take, as you said, Josh, something completely unique from it that only they will derive. And they might see one sentence and they might be affected by it, or they might be inspired to do research and then go on to do like something with that. Take that little seed of whatever's been in their mind and go and do something with it. And that is like the power in like community. That's also the power of like understanding that we are not at all separate. Like we're all connected.
We absolutely are. I um to your point, Tessa, I had a wonderful podcast this morning. Today's been a busy day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, almost
Every
every
day.
day's been a busy
Yeah.
day. Yeah. Oh goodness. Training session this morning, but the podcast this morning was with Mr. Anders Olson,
Mm-hmm.
and we
Mm-hmm.
talked very much about that, about how the breath affects the entire
Mm-hmm.
it affects the autonomic nervous system. It also affects if you really get deep and esoteric, it kind of fix your, but it's the reason why we might be in a situation in which people are so angry
Mm-hmm.
because of the things that leads to war. They want to do this destroying of our world because just people, they just don't know what to do. We're all numb, right? And so sometimes we just have to fix our health so that we can think clearer and we can be a little bit more calm. And I just kind of found it interesting that we went from talking about breathing to getting to war and back, right? Because at the end of the day, however we relate to someone with, there's just so much on the chat as well.
Oh.
Mr. Shaker, Doctor, excuse me. Dr. Shaker Pie. Excuse my little rant. Because here's something I just realized before Mr. Shaker Pie messaged me. I see people who pre-ordered the book are getting their books. Maybe mine was sent to the wrong address. I think it was sent to his old address. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, we're sorry.
So, yeah, so sorry about that. But in case you realize how appreciative we were, and we all appreciate your support. And I can't wait for you to get that. So he says, hi, yeah, I'm going to check the mail there soon. So fingers crossed,
cool.
bro. Fingers crossed.
I remember being in San Francisco. I was staying up there for the week, and this was like, I feel like it was April 2021, and I was listening because, Josh and I wrote this book back and forth via voice message predominantly, right, and WhatsApp. And I was listening to the podcast with you and Dr. Shaker Pie, and that all these little moments culminated to like move this process and this journey along. So that's really cool. It's really sweet. I think we're frozen again. I mean, I feel like it's such... I feel like this is still recording, but I feel like it's such a farce that when we stay in hotels, like the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Like I feel like that's like the bare minimum hospitality that they could extend to us. Okay. He's coming back. He'll be back. Okay, he says hang tight. I know. It's so strange not having the YouTube connection, but knowing that it's I'm just hanging out in my backyard. So, but oh goodness, I feel like there is like huge pressure to say something vital and important. I'm not sure what to say, but oh, there he is. Yay!
How funny is this? How funny is this? Wow. Okay. Lots going on. So here's the thing. So what's really funny about this, Tess, is because I have
I know.
so that's why I'm able to chat and don't, but I wanted to let you know you're still live just in case, you decided to pick your nose or something. Yeah, we're here, and I feel like maybe we should wrap this up soon because it looks like this whole hotel Wi-Fi. I'm actually very proud of myself for being able to organize this like I did it somehow. So
Gosh, you're amazing. Like everything that you do, I feel like is amazing. And you just don't give up. Like you're just like, right, I'm going to learn how to do this. Let's do this, like blah, blah, blah. And it looks like, I feel like people make it look so easy, like content creators and all the rest of it. But it's just so hard, like figuring all this stuff out, you know?
it's a lot of work. It is a
It
lot of
is.
work. Yeah.
Life is a lot of work. It's very challenging.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, um, listen, I'm beyond grateful for you, Tessa. I'm beyond grateful for all of the support we've had thus far. And I know this is gonna far exceed what I ever, dreamed of. And I'm not even talking in terms or any list or anything, but it seems like already we've affected people in a very positive way. And that's what I hope to get. And so even if we just help one more person, then we've done, at least from my perspective, we've done our job.
Isn't
So
that an incredible like cosmic blessing? And like I feel like the amount of blessing that I have received just by doing this, like even if it's not special to anyone else, it has been so special to me. And that's just
mm,
like the best gift ever. So, but absolutely, like,
wow.
yeah, hoping that people get as much out of it as we have, because it's been life changing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. If I really had my shit together, I would have played like a background track while you were talking. That would have been an amazing background track. Like we may have been able to get some people to shed some tears. Oh wow. But
Look, I nearly cried. Like,
oh, I
not
know, I
hard to
know,
achieve.
I know. You're amazing, Tessa, and I hope that people feel what I feel when it comes to working with you. And I'm glad that we embarked on this journey together. And I think when people start reading the book, I think they'll see why. I know there were a lot of doubters, a lot of haters out there, trying to sort of like throw us off of our rhythm and throw us off of this track, and whatever.
There
But
always are, though, like whether
yeah,
they're real or imagined, you know? Like, is it any different if the hater is a real person or if it's just a thought in your head? No, it's the same damn thing.
well said.
Yeah.
Okay. What a hate is that? All right. Um, well, I think that's that from Joshua J. Holland and Tessa Cash with the Awareness Shift book. And
Yes.
so, if you guys get a chance to pick this up, why don't you give us a shout out and stay tuned because we're going to be doing a lot more. I think there's going to be yours truly is going to be on various podcasts, and I know there's going to be other work that's coming, and I hope to continue working with you, Tess. From a writing perspective or whatever. Do more birth chart reading with me and others. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Speak soon.
Signing
We
out.
did it. We did it. We did
Hey.
it.